Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark Roden, and in today's video we are continuing the series trying to rank the best cars of each car brand under the sun. Okay, and in today's video we're going to be doing it on a very requested one, Toyota and Lexus, because we're not going to do a whole video just for Lexus. So instead, what I decided to do is we're going to be doing, normally we would do the top 25 best cars from each of these brands, right? So instead, what I did is we're going to be doing the top 35 best cars of Toyota and Lexus. There are 25 Toyotas and 10 Lexi, but there are obviously some examples of cars where they could also be considered a Lexus, or vice versa. They could also be considered a Toyota, whatever it may be. They're the same brand. If you don't know that by now, I'm sorry to be the one to tell you. It's like I'm telling you that Santa Claus, well, they're the same brand is what I'm trying to get at. They don't know how else to tell you that. But yeah, this is a series that we've got a little bit going on our channel where we talk about just what I believe to be the best cars of each car brand. We've done it with like Volvo, we've done it with Chevy, I think we've done it with Pontiac, Nissan, I think we did it with Nissan, BMW. We've done it with a couple. We've done it with a couple for sure. But today, it's the long-awaited one, Toyota and Lexus. It's going to be a long video because there's 35 of them. So strap in, strap on, and let's get right to it. And coming in at number 35 is going to the Toyota Soarer Z20. I love the Z20 Soarer. Now, let me explain something to you. The performance on these cars... Okay, I did a whole I did a whole deep dive video on one of these bad boys before, and yeah, their performance was not impressive to say the least. But they weren't supposed to be, you know. These were their halo cars. They were trying to see what worked and what didn't work, and were insane large luxury cars. It's kind of like the LC500 of the 80s. In my opinion, it's absolutely gorgeous. Coming in at number 34 is admittedly a car that I don't know too much about, but I do know that they're pretty cool and I like how they look. The Toyota Starlet Glanza V. Now, I'm an American. We don't have Starlets over here. I mean, we do. We have some that have been imported, obviously, but it's not like a very common car. You're not seeing these all over the place. And people that do want to import these cars, or import a car, I should say, aren't going to do it to this. You know, they're not going to spend all that time and effort to import one of these rather than just import something that's more enjoyable to them. But I love little hatchbacks. I especially love little 90s hatchbacks. And I know that the Starlet is super popular overseas, and so that's why I put it here. 33rd is a car that's been getting a lot of hype, actually, relatively recently. People are talking about this thing left, right, and center. The Toyota Previa. It's a minivan. I know you guys are probably watching the video, and people that don't know what this thing is, you're like, are you serious? It's literally like the ugliest looking minivan of all time. How is this one of the best Toyotas of all time? Well, okay, I think you're one of the ugliest people of all time. Huh? How does that feel? Does that mean that you're not a good person, though? No, that's not what that means at all. And the Toyota Previa has a really good motor under the hood. Now, I don't know exactly what that motor is, but I know it has a good one. And that's what people like about it. Coming in at the number 32 spot, 32nd, is going to the Toyota Supra. This is one of Toyota's weird cars, you know? Every brand has one car where you're just like, yeah, okay, that's, you know, I like it, but who came up with that idea? And that's exactly what it is with the Toyota Supra. These cars have gull wing doors, okay? They have weird little windows on the side, kind of reminiscent of a Subaru SVX. They look adorable, but also kind of not at the same time. They're like these big beans driving around. Listen, I like them, but I would never purchase one. They're car designs, but Lexus, they know what to do. And these cars are absolutely gorgeous, and their performance also backs it up. But breaking its way into the top 30 like a freaking Rampage Jackson when he kicked that door down in UFC is the Toyota Sports 800. This is a very classic Toyota Sport. This Toyota sports car, first of all, was so old that this is back when they were just naming cars like basic things like this. Toyota Sports 800. Remember back in the day, they had cars called the 55. They just called them the 55 Chevy. Imagine if you were like, oh, hey, yeah, this is my 16 BMW. Like, people would be like, what one? You know what I mean? But that's how it was back then. But either way, that's what it is. It's a small little sports car from back then. It kind of started it all for Toyota sports car line. Obviously, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I've explained to you guys before, I'm not the biggest fan of these super classic small cars, but it definitely holds its place in Toyota's history. 29th place, however, is going to be going to the complete opposite of the small car, a big one. The Toyota 4Runner TRD Pro. This is the newest 4Runner. Again, do not quote me on that. Maybe they just came out with a brand new one that I'm not caught up to date on, but it's a relatively new one. I like these 4Runners. I think these 4Runners are really good looking trucks or SUVs, whatever you want to call them. They look good in my opinion, and they obviously perform well off-road like they're supposed to. And the TRD Pro had had bigger tires and like a bigger brakes and like bigger suspension, and it was like lifted from factory and all these, you know, off-road overlanding stuff that they want. And so that's why I put this one here. But honestly, even just the base model 4Runners in my opinion are cool looking vehicles. 28th place, however, is a drifter's paradise, and so much cheaper than people think it is. The Toyota Mark II JZX90. Now, obviously, these are some popular cars for drifting boys. Any JZX car is a popular car for drifting boys. This is, in my opinion, and don't shoot me, please, because first of all, that's a crime, and I would report you to the police. But second of all, I don't want to pass away. But when I say I think this is probably my least favorite of the JZX cars. Oof, I said it. I like the Mark II JZX 100 better. I like the Chaser JZX 100 better. I like the Cresta better. But it's still a really popular drift car, and it holds its place for sure. 27th, we're just going with old reliable here, man. No one's mad about this car. It's the Toyota Cressida MX-83. People that don't know about this car don't talk about this car, and people that do know about this car don't talk about this car. It's just a car that it just exists, and every time you remember about the MX-83 Cressida, you're like, oh yeah, I like that car. It's a good car. And that's exactly why it's right here at the 27th spot. Do I think it's one of the, literally, the best Toyota ever made? No. But it's such a middle ground. It's like a safe house in a video game. Like, you just know that anybody that you ever tell about the MX-83 Cressida, they're going to be like, yeah, this is a nice car. I like it. You know, there's nothing wrong with it. It's not crazy, but it's a good car. 26th place, however, is a little bit more controversial. There are a lot of people out there that don't like them, but I do. It's the Toyota Supra MK3 Ultra. The Mark III Supra gets a lot of, not a lot of hate, I would say. I don't think people are lining up at Toyota's headquarters and, you know, executing them live on Live Leak because they made the Mark III Supra. But I think it's just massively overshadowed by its younger brothers, the Mark IV and Mark V Supra. They're just so much better in every way, let's be honest. But the Mark III Supra is a good looking car. It did well, like its performance was good for its time. If it wasn't for the Mark IV Supra being an absolute powerhouse of a car, this car would have been a really popular car, and it just unfortunately got overshadowed. 25th place, however, is going to go to a car that the hate is slightly justifiable with it. The Toyota MR2 AW11, or the first generation of the MR2. And everybody kind of likes these cars in a sense where they're good cars. Like, everybody knows that they're cool little sports cars. And when you see one, you're going to be like, yeah, it's a cool little car. It's like the definition of retro, by the way. Like, I feel like everybody that drives an AW11 MR2 also plays Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Like, they just have to. But the obvious downside to this car, and I'm going to say it, people make fun of me because I say it all the time, but I like saying it. It's a fun word to say. Snap oversteer, partner. Yeah, these cars had horrible snap oversteer. The SW20 second generation MR2s had bad snap oversteer, but this one, oh my lord. 24th place, we're going back to the old Lexi boys over there, because we're going to be talking about the Lexus LS400. Now, there's technically like 3 generations of the LS400. I always just bunch them up into one big generation because there's not that big of a difference between them. I like the first gen the best, though. I do think it looks the most aggressive. Either way, they're not meant to look aggressive. They were luxury cars. They're only automatics, but they did have a 1UZ, so that's obviously pretty good. You know, the 1UZ. Good motor. Everybody likes the 1UZ. But they were grandpa mobiles, okay? Their whole idea was they wanted to beat the BMW 7 Series and the Mercedes S-Classes at the time for a much cheaper price. And they did that so well that Mercedes was caught reverse engineering LS400s to see how they built them and sold them for so cheap, because they destroyed the competition. And it's a no-brainer that people want them today. 23rd position, however, is going to go to one that I feel like nobody really talks about. Even the American variant of it, which is the Lexus GS300, no one talks about, and it's the Toyota Aristo V300. Now, the American variant, if anything, I feel like people talk about more, which is mind-blowing because it's the 2JZ GE. We didn't get the GTE. This one in Japan, they did get the GTE in this car. It's one of the only cars that has the GTE in it. And people just don't even know that. It's just absolutely insane. Now, obviously, its performance, its weight is nowhere near the Mark IV Supra, which is why people don't talk about it too much. They just use it for the engine. But it's still insane. 22nd is a car that I'm going to be 100p with you guys. I don't know too much about here, but I know it's popular. It's a Toyota Land Cruiser FJ40. Toyota has a relatively good history when it comes to off-road vehicles, and I think this is where it pretty much all started. This was like their answer to Land Rovers and Jeeps and stuff like that, and it did well. It handled well. It was a good off-road vehicle, and people like it for that. Moving on, because like I said, I unfortunately don't know too much about this. Barely. And I mean so barely that you might even think it's hairily close to the 20th spot, but barely missing out on it, is the 21st Toyota Century V12. This is a big old boy. This is a big old presidential vehicle. But yeah, no, this actually was a like presidential vehicle. Like they used this in Japan to transport their high-ranking officials around in, and it's kind of like our Cadillac Escalades, you know, but for them. And it was the only time that Toyota decided to put a V12 in a car too, which is obviously a big deal. Now the car's performance wise, even though it does have a V12, it wasn't like good. The V12, it was one of those instances where they used a big motor not for the performance but for the comfortability of it, and that's exactly what kind of happened here. But it's still going to go down in history as a very unique, awesome Toyota. And guess who made it? Guess who made its little way, it's poked its little ugly head into the top 20? The Lexus LC500. I freaking love these things, dude. I was driving to a comedy show like 2 weeks ago, and I was at a red light, and this like young Asian guy pulls up next to me in an LC500, and I literally was just looking at him with my jaw like on the ground, and he looked over at me and like laughed about it, and I was like, dude, beautiful car. And I was in my Integra, and he was like, beautiful car to you too. And I was like, I will freaking trade you right now. They're just big luxury cars is pretty much what they are. And in reality, their performance isn't great or anything, but just wait 15 years and these things are going to be like the same price as like an SC300, and everyone's going to want one. Night date flight. Oh my god, I'm choking over here. I'm dying. 19th place is going to the Toyota Altezza. Hey, Al. Oh, hey, Tezza. How's it going? Or, as we know it over here in the United States of America, the Lexus IS300. They also, I think, in Japan had completely different motors in them. I know they did have the 2JZ GE in them, but I think they had other JZ engines in them, if I'm not mistaken. Either way, they're better than the IS300 version that we got over here. And the IS300 is already a very, very popular car. It's kind of like the... Not really. It's kind of like the GS300, but so much smaller and just so much more sporty. 18th place is a new Toyota that actually made out. I think, personally, that Toyota is starting to make a little bit of a comeback. You know, they're starting to push for the fences here, trying their absolute best to make enthusiast cars again. And this is a good example of that. The Toyota GR86 is a relatively good car. I'm very proud of them for making this car. I've seen a couple driving around, and they're clearly the modern age Miata. Like, people that are buying these cars are track guys. People that, like, I am like literally choked up right now. I feel like I'm on stage for some reason. I'm like nervous. It's weird. But yeah, they're good cars. They're good handling cars, lightweight. They're a good successor to the BRZ in my opinion. Now the performance still, yeah, it definitely leaves some room to be desired for the horsepower there, but its handling is next to none. 7th place, we're going all the way back, baby. We're going all the way back to when JFK was pewed, because we're talking about the Toyota Celica first generation. This is before the Celica went front wheel drive and they were still rear wheel drive. And this is also during that time that for some reason Japanese automakers wanted all of their cars to look like small American muscle cars for some reason. I don't know why they did that, but thank God they did, because the first gen Celica looks absolutely incredible. I freaking love the first gen Celica so much. Now, if they were like, I made them, like, I love my Integra, don't get me wrong, people know that, but the Integra is small, and it's not the best daily for me, because I'm a 6 foot tall boy, tell your girlfriends. But I feel like that's exactly how I would feel in the first gen Celicas as well. They're just too small for me. But you know, it's not too small for me. I promise I'm not planning this. I promise I'm not planning like putting a really small car right before a really big one, because 16th place is the Toyota Tacoma X-Runner. Wow, that's a cool name. I feel like whoever made this name had to have like shotgunned 2 Four Locos, drank Monster, and was wearing like the tightest sunglasses you could ever buy when they came up with this name, because X-Runner is just hilarious. It's a sports truck though. Before the Ram TRX, before the Raptor R, before any of those Shelby race trucks that they got now too, this was what they had, man. The Toyota Tacoma X-Runner, and it was a baller car. I still remember in Gran Turismo 4 how dominant this car was in that game. But we're taking it back. We're going into some freaking time machines today, because we're back into the classics again with number 15 going to the Toyota 2000 GT. Now the 2000 GT, to everybody else that likes Toyotas, is probably a lot higher on their list. So why did I put mine at 15th place? I'm not I've said it before, I'll say it again. I'm not the biggest fan of super classic cars, and so that's why I unfortunately did put the Toy 2000 GT all the way down up here. It's just not my biggest cup of tea for sure, but it's you know, it's a little one. It's a little cup of tea. It's kind of like what the British people drink, you know. It's like one of those little sippy cups of tea, because I still like it. And I know it's like literally what started it all for Toyota in terms of their sports car division, but I don't know. I would personally never own it. Like 14th place, for example, is much more my speed, because it's going to the Lexus RCF. These things sound absolutely incredible. One drove by me on the highway like a couple weeks ago, dude. Oh my god. Oh my god, I fell in love with it. These things sound insane. Now they're kind of like, again, Lexus is almost like trying to make like BMW competitors nowadays, which is kind of interesting, but that's what it is with the RCF. And I don't know about you guys, but it's a tough battle. Whenever I think of like an F82 M4 or an RCF, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. They're good cars, and actually aspirated V8 from Toyota as well. Like, you know, it's going to be reliable. But 13th place, we went from like a really expensive, you know, high class car. Like, you see somebody driving the RCF, you know that guy has got some money. He might have ripped some people off, probably done some dirty deeds to get there, but he has money. And this one, they probably don't have the most money in the world, but you know dang it well that they are stress-free because it's the Toyota Tacoma first generation. Like, the last guy with the RCF, he's stressing. He's balding on every part of his body. He's balding. He can't even grow eyelashes anymore because he's balding so bad because he's trying to make the most money. But the guy with the Tacoma first gen, the car's reliable as hell, one of the most reliable vehicles of all time. My dad is not the biggest Japanese vehicle fan, but he loves his first generation Tacoma. Why? Because they just get the job done. They're a mini truck with a purpose. 12th place is going to what, in my opinion, is probably the most underrated Toyota of all time, because it's the Toyota MRS, or the third generation of the Toyota MR2. I don't know why they call it the MRS, because it's a spider. Oh, here, we have to call it the spider. We have to be unique. Look at us. We're Toyota. Shut up, Toyota. Just call it the MR2 something. You know, the MR2 Spider is what you could do, an MRS, whatever. Either way, I think people massively judge the book by its cover on this one, because yeah, I will admit it doesn't look as good as the SW20 or AW11 MR2s, but god, its handling is amazing, and they finally, for the most part, figured out snap oversteer. Oh man, we're back again to the spot where they just barely missed out on the top 10, because 11th place is going to the Toyota Supra Mark V, the newest Supra. People hated it when it first came out. I feel like everybody in the car community was like, this sucks, give us a Toyota motor. But I think the B58 is realistically one of like the best motors that they could have given the Mark V Supra. I get that it's made by BMW, and yeah, that's a little unfortunate, but dude, it fits exactly what we wanted. It's literally like the same thing. It's a 3-liter twin-turbo inline 6, just like the 2JZ GTE. It has insane tuning potential, just like the 2JZ GTE. Like, yeah, I get that it's made by a BMW, and that does kind of suck a little bit, but it's like pretty much the exact same motor, just German. I love it. I love it so much. I love the Mark V Supra. I don't care what anybody says. But did you guys think a helicopter was flying by? It was actually just me. But coming in at number 10th place is the Toyota Soarer Z30, or as we know it over here in the States, the Lexus SC300 or 400. I think the Soarer Z30 is much better though, because I'm pretty sure these things came with a 1JZ GTE in one of their trim levels, and we never got that. We had the 2JZ GE and then the 1UZ. Now the 1UZ is a great motor, but it's nowhere near a 1JZ GTE. Like, that's just, oh my god. Now, I have made my peace when it comes to SCs. I think they're one of the most gorgeous Japanese cars of all time. Some people say they look like an egg. To those people, I say, eat my boogers. Okay, I'm deep frying them right now for you. 9th place is going to a car that's getting a lot of love, but also a lot of hate right now. And it's actually two cars, because in my opinion, they're so similar that I don't want to rank them separately. The Toyota Corolla and Toyota Yaris GRs. The GR Yaris and GR Corollas, for the most part, most people love. However, they have been a subject of some major controversy lately because they start burning for absolutely no reason, like a Ford Pinto or a Fiero GT. For some reason, they just like to catch on fire. I don't get why they do that, but they do. It's a hot hatch from hell. Now, hey, it's a hot hatch. It's living up to its name. I just realized that. Good job, Toyota. You're a smart man. Now, its performance, though, is absolutely insane, and there's no denying it. Little 3-cylinder with a turbo, and that's all it needs to be just a rally monster. The GR Yaris is already just dominating in WRC. Like, these things are exactly what they're meant to be. But 8th place, however, is a car that I feel like people are just completely forgetting about nowadays. It used to be the talk of the town. Dude, you would go to elementary school. I would be in 4th grade, and Miss Town would say, hey, and that's literally my teacher's name, by the way, in 4th grade, Miss Town. And she was beautiful, too, by the way. Every one of us had a crush on her. She was gorgeous. But either way, she would be like, all right, class, today's subject is a Toyota Hilux, because these things were like the first-gen Tacomas before the first-gen Tacomas were a thing. They were just the most reliable vehicles on planet Earth. Whistling Diesel dropped them from like 20 feet, and it was totally fine. Like, these things they just do what they do, and they do it amazingly. I think they still have them in Australia, but we don't have them over here in America, unfortunately. But 7th place, we talked about two of its predecessors already. Now it's I guess one is a predecessor, one's a successor. Actually, they're not both, because it's right in the middle. It's the middle child, the Toyota MR2 SW20. In my opinion, it's the best of the MR2s. I know its performance isn't technically the best of the MR2s, because the MRS is just better than it in every way in that sense. but its looks massively carry it. This car is so cool looking, dude. It's pop-up headlights. It's nice, aggressive tail. I love 90s cars, how they had taillights like that. Okay, like the 4th gen Firebird. I know that's a 2000s car, but still, you get what I'm saying. 4th gen Firebird taillights, where they connect on the back of the car. I love that. I think it's absolutely amazing. That's exactly what happened with the MR2. It was obviously mid-engine. Its performance was incredible once you learned how to handle it. They're sick cars. But 6th place, coming in at the number 6 position, however, is going to the Lexus ISF. Take the RCF and put it in a much smaller car, and that's exactly what you have here. This car also has 4 doors, which in my opinion kind of is weird because it's like it's so much smaller than the RCF, but the RCF is a 2-door. The one that's smaller has 4 doors. What's going on there, Lexus? What was the plan? Now, obviously, the ISF, you don't need me to introduce it. These things are aggressive-looking V8, naturally aspirated V8-powered monsters, and that's exactly what they do. 4th place, I've said it a million times before, and I'm going to say it again. I don't get the hype behind these cars that much, but I do understand that it does have a lot of hype, so that's why I put it here at the number 4 spot. It's a Toyota Corolla GTS AE86, a Sprinter Traino, whatever you want to call the tofu delivery vehicle, the initial D-boy, the initial D-bag. Oh, get roasted, guy. I don't know the character's name, but get roasted, buddy. Yeah, it's the A86, man. The A86 is a legend in Toyota's history, and I do know the reason why they like it so much. They're so freaking light. These things are just, they're kind of like Miatas, realistically, and you put a good motor in them, you're golden. But I just personally don't understand it that much. 3rd place is another car where I definitely do think it's slightly overrated again, but I much more prefer this car, the Toyota Chaser JZX100. The JZX100 Chaser is a drifter's paradise. I mean, it's literally every drifter under the sun wants one of these cars, and for good reason. They came with a 1JZ GTE. They're 4 doors. They have a good wheelbase. They can make good power. They look, I feel like drifters love cars that don't look like much until they start to modify them, and then they look like these little race cars, and that's exactly what it is with the Chaser. They are, however, I think, getting to be slightly overrated for sure. I mean, it's hard to find one of these things for like less than 40K. Like, you can it's almost at the point where you can find a freaking JZX100 Chaser for like the same price as an FDRX7. And in my opinion, that should never happen. 2nd place, and it actually kind of, for some reason, pains me a little bit to put it all the way up here because I feel like I'm cheating. It feels like it doesn't belong. It's the Lexus LFA. The Lexus LFA is clearly one of the best cars Toyota or Lexus has ever produced. But again, it just feels like, for some reason, this whole video, like, we've been talking about cars that are relatively affordable, relatively realistic cars that are just like kind of normal, you know. And now here comes this one supercar that just kind of like messes up the whole list. I don't know. I didn't put it first though because of an obvious car. I feel like you guys already knew clicking on the video what's going to get first, but it is still an insane car, one of the best sounding cars of all time, period. Realistically, it probably is the best sounding car of all time. In my opinion, the looks are okay. I don't think they're one of the best looking supercars out there, but they definitely look good. And their performance, it was all right again as well. It's obviously just a car that is like Toyota or Lexus, I guess you could say, made to prove to the world that they can make it though. But honorable mention, because I always do an honorable mention on these videos since I like to talk about some of their legendary race cars, but I don't want to put a race car on the list because I feel like it's cheating. So we have 2 today. First off is a Toyota Corolla WRC. The World Rallycross Race Corolla was, in my opinion, absolutely insanely cool. I freaking love them with every fiber of my body. I guess you could say this could also technically be a regular car, kind of like the GT4 Celica. I don't know, I think it's more race car oriented than that is. Like, you're not going to have as much fun in a regular Corolla than you will in the WRC Corolla. It's just sexy. And then the second honorable mention for today is the Toyota TS020. The TS020 is unbelievable. When they added it into Gran Turismo 7, I literally downloaded the entire game just so I could drive around the car again because I was like so excited that it was finally back in a game. I love these cars so much. They're one of the coolest Le Mans prototypes of all time. Their motorsport history is, in my opinion, actually kind of lackluster for what the amount of hype that these cars get. Like, they didn't win as much as people think they did, but they still are insanely cool. And first place, though, of course, the best Toyota of all time is the Toyota Supra Mark IV. You can call me a 12-year-old all you want. I don't care, you TikTok boys. The Mark IV Supra truly is probably the most legendary, impactful Toyota. One of the most impactful cars, period, of all time. And was it the car or was it the engine? Realistically, it was the engine. Yes, the 2JZ GTE really carried the Supra, but its looks massively helped it for sure too. It did look good. It's a good looking sports car. Like, you're still to this day, if you see a Mark IV Supra, even not as a car guy, you're still going to be like, hey, that's a, you know, it's a good looking car. It's not ugly. I mean, some people might think so, but I feel like the vast majority of us think it's good looking. But again, its 2JZ GTE is just incredible. I mean, people are still, to this day in 2024, comparing this little 3-liter 6-cylinder motor to like modern day Lamborghinis. That's how impactful this car was. It's a 90s engine built by Toyota in one of their regular old sports cars. That was a 3-liter inline 6. They slapped 2 turbos on it, and it's now, over 20 years later, still being compared against modern day supercars. That's insane. But ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of today's video ranking the top 35 best Toyotas of all time. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this. Let me know what other videos you'd like to see in the comment section down below. Let me know what other brands you want me to rank. I do have Volkswagen, the script for Volkswagen. I say script, but this is what my script looks like. You guys ready? That's my script. It's just the cars. It's just with the cars, and I freeball the rest of it. And so I do have the Volkswagen script written out already, so that will be coming probably next. But other brands, I want to try and do all the brands. So we're probably going to do some brands that are more unknown, like we did Hyundai and Pontiac. We want to do a couple of those, knock those out of the way, because I want to do all the brands. So we got to get the ones that are like, you know, probably not going to do as well on the channel out of the way as well, so that way we're not stuck with all the boring brands at the end of the video. But yeah, let me know what other videos that you see in the comment section down below. I don't really have much else to tell you guys today in the old outro. I guess one thing I can tell you, if you don't care, then this is the end of the video. One thing I can tell you is it's starting to snow up here in Connecticut. It's snowing pretty bad actually right now, and I love and hate it. I love it because it's December, right? And tell me if I'm the only one that thinks this. I feel like snow should happen for the entire month of December and even a little bit into January, maybe like 1 or 2 weeks into January, and then immediately just turn off and we go right back to summer. I love and hate this time of year. I love it because it's jolly, the family's getting together, everybody's happy. But then the second after the holidays are done, everyone is just freaking depressed, and it gets dark at 4:30. It's freezing cold outside. If you try working on your cars and accidentally punch some metal when like trying to turn on, oh my god, it's the worst pain known to man. It is just I can't tell how to feel right now, and it's insane. Like, it's cozy, you know. We got a Christmas tree downstairs right now with all the lights on. We're gonna go watch a movie on the couch as a big family with the snow falling outside. Like, that's cozy and great. That's amazing. But then, like, in 1 month, I'm gonna be like, I hate this. I can't stand it at all, and it's I don't know how to feel. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it. Das vidanya, and have a nice night.